All right, so if your hexagon has 4 triangles, your quadrilateral has 2 triangles, pentagon has 3 triangles, that's how they figured out what the rule is. All right, so if you took the time to read the rule says n minus 2 times 180 is the sum of the interior angles. Now, it's the sum of the interior angles of a convex polygon. Now, of course, polygon just means many sides. All right. This is considered convex because when you draw the diagonals, all of the diagonals are on the inside or the interior of the polygon. All right, let me give you something that this rule would not apply to. If I said, what's the sum of the interior angles of that, we wouldn't know, right? Because it's not a convex polygon. Because again, if I draw the diagonal from, from here to here, that's where? On the outside. Does everybody agree? All right. So that's what's the difference between a convex and a concave. Concave interior, or the diagonals are on the interior. All right. So listen, and I mean this. It is a formula. That's all. N minus 2 times 180. That's the sum. All right. That's the sum. All right. Now, there is also something called an exterior angle. All right. This would be considered a what? Exterior angle. Is everybody with me on that? All right. Now, listen to me. For the longest times, I used to say, that's an exterior angle, and this is what? Does everybody agree I could draw that and say that's an exterior angle also? So it appeared to me as if there were 2 exterior angles. I was like, well, why is there just... In other words, this hexagon has 6 exterior angles, and I would argue that it has actually what? 12. Right? Does everybody see that? All right, so you need to make sure you understand what I'm saying now. There are the same number of exterior angles as there are what? Interior. And once my teacher told me that, okay, it's like that kind of makes sense. All right, if there's 6 interior angles, there are what? 6 exterior angles. But then for the longest time, I thought this was the exterior angle, but that's definitely not the exterior angle, right? The exterior angle, all you're doing to find the exterior angle is continue to draw the side, all right? And then this right here would be considered an exterior angle. And if you were to draw the other side, this is also considered a what? But they're congruent. So I agree with that. All right, so I want to make sure everybody's hearing me. All right, the exterior angle is the same number of what? Interior angles. Now, believe it or not, the exterior angle, regardless of how many angles there are in the polygon, the sum is always what? The sum is always 360. All right, the sum is always 360. All right, and that's not really that hard to prove either. But that's what I need for you to know. All right, anybody have any questions? All right, now, because I am extremely lazy, I want to show you how you can do it on your calculator in seconds. All right, so let's pull out your calculator. Okay, now, is it necessary to have a calculator? No, it really isn't necessary. All right, it's just helpful. All right, so a decagon. The first one we're going to do by hand. All right, so the sum of the measure of the interior angles of a decagon. All right, so a decagon, I would like for you to put equals. How many sides does a decagon have? 10. So we would say 10 minus 2 times what? 180. All right, and then somebody calculate that for me. 1,440. Yeah, 1,440 degrees. 1,440 degrees. Everybody good with that? Now, does everybody look at this worksheet? We got to do that a bunch of times. Do we agree? Yeah. Right. So now what I would like to do is I would like to show you how to use your calculator efficiently. If we wanted to now, not that it's a big deal, guys, but if you have a 16 gon, you're just going to multiply what? 180 times 14. This is not a big deal, but I also would like for you to learn how to use your calculator. All right. So under Y1, everyone can type in x minus 2, put that in parentheses, times 180. Everybody type that in. Everybody got that on there? Y1. Everybody's good? Now we just need to go to our table, second table, or second graph. Everybody's pulling up the table. Now you just type in what? 16. And what's it say for 16? 2,520. Now, thank you, Court. What I also would like is this. Please, those of you guys who want to do better, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's best to ask now. If you don't understand 6.1, you're not going to understand 6.2. And 6.3 is harder. Every time you don't know something, the next lesson is harder. That's why you have to do your homework. All of it. All right? Then you won't have problems. All right? So continue all the way through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bless you. Now, if you don't know how to use your calculator, you can let me know. What's a 30 gon going to be? Tanner. And I want the degree symbol too.
5,040.
You're asking a question. I don't know. You raise your hand. I want the answer. Is it 540, 50, or 5,040? Is that correct for 30?
Yeah.
All right. So next one. Octagon has how many sides? 8. So help me out. What? Where's your calculator? Here, use this one for now. Come on, you're holding me up. Let's go. One girl. What was my octagon?
1,080.
1080. What's a 12 gon? Tell me. 1,800. And then a 35 gon. Someone else.
5,940.
Anybody else get 5,940? All right, make sure you put the degree symbol up there, please. Okay, now just double check me though. I want everybody to go 35 minus 2 times 180. And make sure that's 5,940. Or 33 times 180. I'm just trying to make sure your brain is not just looking at your calculator, right? Is everybody happy with that? That's all there is to it. That's how many degrees there are in a 35 gon. 5,940 total degrees. All right, now let's look in here. Now it says the measure of an interior angle of a regular polygon is given. Find the number of sides. All right, so now we have the exterior, the interior angle is 150. Does everybody agree with that? Now, someone please tell me what regular means again. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, the sides are equal. This was regular up here. This is a regular hexagon. All sides are equal and all angles are equal. Is everybody with me on this? All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of math, and then, of course, I'm going to teach you a quick way. All right, so I want someone to tell me, how do I calculate the measure of each interior angle if it's regular? What do you think I have to do? How do I calculate it? Come on, someone tell me. That's the formula. Good, Oliver, what's the formula going to be to calculate the interior angle of a regular polygon?
Just do the sum of them divided by how many sides there.
Now, look, I can't help you with that. That's exactly correct. Everybody should be able to say, well, the sum is always n minus 2 times 180, correct? And if I want to know the measure of one of them, because all the angles are the same, I would simply divide that by n. Thank you, Oliver. That is perfect. So the measure of the interior angle, and now again, I need everybody to understand that it has to be regular. Do we agree? It has to be regular. That means all the angles are equal. That's the formula. Is everybody with me on that? That is the formula. All right. So now it's kind of annoying because we have a lot of math work here. So let's do it. 150 is equal to n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. So of course, you just multiply both sides by n, correct? So I end up with 150n equals 180n minus 360. Everybody see what I did there? Right? Come on, multiplied both sides by n. So I just moved this n over here. And then I just distributed the what? The 180. Everybody's good with that? Now I just move things around. Minus 150. 30n is equal to 360. Is everybody good with that? And so now n is equal to what? 12. So there were 12 sides. There were 12 sides. All right, now let's see if I've done a good job. I want everybody to do for 160. Let's say the exterior or the interior angle was 160 degrees. Do the math real quick, and if you get the right math, then I'll show you a shortcut. And pretty soon you'll just be able to look at that and say, well, obviously the answer is 18, I believe. Is that right, David? All right, so now the reason why I'm making you do the work is because if you can do the work on your own, then you can do the rest of this. All right, so here we go. 160 is equal to n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. Now, but the main thing is I'm trying to make sure, and here's what I get frustrated with, so I need everybody to listen carefully to what I'm saying right now. Does everybody understand n minus 2 times 180? I don't want you to have to say, oh my gosh, I have to memorize all these formulas. I would like everyone to say, well, obviously the sum of the interior angles of a polygon is n minus 2 times 180. Because you're just cutting the polygon into what? Triangles. And when you cut it, right, there's 2 less triangles than there are number of sides. And then we know that the angles of a triangle add up to 180. So we just multiply that by 180. And then if I want to know the measure of each angle, I find the sum and then divide it by the number of angles. I don't have to memorize that. That's what I'm trying to ask you. All right, that formula should make perfectly good sense, and there's just no reason in the world to try to memorize that. All right, but of course, some of you just do. All right, now that we have the formula, we're just working backwards, correct? So we have 160n is equal to 180n minus 360. I'm moving things around. 20n is equal to 360. So n equals what? 18. Okay. Now, I want to go back to my figure real quick. So we're going to do the rest of these quickly. All right. I'll show you how, like, I know the answer to all of them. All right. And it goes from this. Please look up here to this information. Again, I don't want to do all that math work. I always like to do things as quick as possible. So here we go. Does everybody agree this is an exterior angle? And what's true about all the exterior angles if it's regular? They're the same, correct. And they're also what? Compared to the interior angle. Come on, everybody's got to look on the board. This is an interior angle, and I drew the exterior. So what's true about the interior and the exterior? They're obviously what? Supplementary. Everybody's good with that? Anybody have any questions with that? So can someone tell me what the measure of this exterior angle would be if it's a regular hexagon? What would that be? Tell me.
What if like 180 minus the interior angle?
No, well, yeah, but I want to know it quicker than that even. What did we say the sum of the exterior angles were? Tell us, Walt.
It is
60. But how do we get that? That's what I'm asking.
because there's 6 vertices.
6 vertices, or we should say 6 exterior angles. And what's the sum of the exterior angles? The sum of the exterior angles is always how much? 360. So how many angles, how many exterior angles are there? 6, or we could say n. Does everybody agree? So the measure of the exterior angle is always 360 divided by the number of sides. So that's not on here. All right. But again, I don't have to write that on there, but I should be able to look at that and say that's kind of obvious, right? There's 6 angles. The sum of the exterior angles is 360. So 360 divided by 6 would give me the exterior angle. Now remember, again, I'm trying to change my strategy here. I'd like you walking out of here going, well, everything made sense today. So when you walk out of here and say something doesn't make sense, that's because you didn't ask me. You just sat there. All right. Is everybody okay with the sum of, or the exterior angle is 360 divided by the number of sides? Does that make sense to everybody now?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to take the fact that you understand that the interior plus the exterior is always equal to how many degrees? 180. We just learned that. Now you can raise your hand and say, man, I was daydreaming here for a minute and I don't even know what you're meaning, interior and exterior. You may have a problem with the interior and exterior angle equaling 180 degrees. So if I have the interior angle and it's 175, then what's the exterior angle? 5 degrees. So the exterior angle is equal to 5 degrees. Now I want this to put in your brain because a lot of people have trouble with this. I just said that the sum, well, not the sum, but 360 divided by the number of sides is equal to the exterior angle. So everybody remember me saying that? All right, now please watch up here because people ask me all the time. I'm going, how do you not know that? Look up, look up, look up. Watch my math. What did I do to both sides? Multiplied by. Now, what did I do? Divided by the exterior angle. So 360 divided by the exterior angle gives me what? The number of sides. Right? I just feel like everybody should be able to do that. Simple, basic math right there. And I have people all the time going, memorizing 360 divided by n is the exterior angle. And then they write another formula and say 360 divided by the number of sides is the exterior angle. It's just not necessary to me. If you know 360 divided by n equals the exterior angle, then you should know 360 divided by the exterior angle is the number of sides. Basic arithmetic. Everybody's good with that? So now I take 360 and I divide it by the exterior angle. And of course, 360 divided by 5 is what?
72.
Yes, 72 sides. All right, there are 72 sides, or you can just say n equals 72. Now, again, I like Sebastian because if he doesn't know something, he just puts his hand up. He has no shame. All right, he doesn't care what other people think. All right, he's just going to ask me. All right. Tell us.
Where did 5 come from?
175 subtracted from 180. Right? The exterior and the interior is equal to 180. See how that works? Some of you guys are sitting there going, what's the crazy guy saying 5? I have no idea where that came from. Right? It's all right not to know something. Speak up. Come on, I think all of this is just formula based. You should be going, yay, just formulas. That's all I have to do is plug numbers into formulas. but I'm requiring you to understand the formulas. All right. So now let's get to work. 165. 15 is the exterior angle. All right. So now what can I do? 360 divided by 15. How much? Somebody said 24. Now you do it yourself. Don't put 24 down on your paper if you didn't get 24 on your calculator. You do it yourself. And then, wow, amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right. Nothing to it, you realize. So if I said 144 degrees was the interior angle, the number of sides is how many? Everybody's happy with 10. All right. And of course, 12. See how fast we're doing it. Once you understand something, it's like, that's the way I feel about it. All right. How do you not know that? And then I want the rest of you going, how do these people not know that? All right. If you're one of the people sitting there going, oh, man, you're going way too fast. Please slow down. Put your hand up in the air and say, just give me a second. Because I'm asking, anybody have any troubles with 7 through 12 now? You're supposed to do them all, not just write in my answers. Anybody have any issues with that? All right. So everybody look at 13 for a quick moment. Is that a regular pentagon? Definitely not. All right. So I need to figure out the value of X. And then on the test, it says calculate the value of X and find all of the angles. So that's what we're going to do. So how do I calculate the angles? First of all, what's the sum of the interior angles? Come on, everybody's little hands on their calculator. You already have it in Y equals. All you got to go is your table and type in what number? What number do you type in? Oh, yeah, see? What number am I typing in on my calculator? That's not a number. 5. Thank you, Oliver. And what do you get when you type in 5 for X? 540. So that's the sum of the interior angles, 540. Now, again, I'm a little nervous because I asked you to type in something in your calculator and I had one person say something, which means there's a bunch of people, 19 other people in here that don't know something. Is everybody comfortable with me plugging 5 in on my calculator and getting 540? And if you don't know what that represents, come on. Court, good for you. What? I counted the number of sides.
Oh.
Yeah, don't laugh. Happens all the time. All right. I agree with you. Kind of silly now that you know. Anybody else have trouble with 540? All right, now how do I knock out this equation so easily? What do we do? Go ahead. Add all the X's. So someone who's mental giant, count the number of X's. And don't tell me there are 5 X's there. That's not what I mean. Somebody said how much? Well, Sebastian said 25, so please double check that.
26.
Yes, Sebastian, I knew. We're not listening to you. 26X, zip it. All right, now calculate the other part of it. 26X what? No, I definitely don't trust you. Plus 20? Plus. All right. Now solve that out. X equals what?
20.
I know. We're having simple basic math. It's killing people. 540 minus 20. What could that be? Oh, 520 divided by 26. That required a calculator for sure. Yeah, I saw you use your calculator. 20. So now X is 20. So now you put down angle A, angle B, angle C, angle D, angle E. We're practicing. So what's A? Someone.
Obviously, it's just 90.
90. That was pretty quick. B. One what?
30.
130. Angle C.
95.
95. Angle D. What? And angle E, 140. And if you want, you can add those up and see if it adds up to 540.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let the fun continue. Okay, I'm confident with 14, 15, 16. Find the measure of each exterior angle. If there's 12 sides, then what would it be? If you guys are doing 360 divided by 12 on your calculator, that's a shame. 30 without a calculator. Amazing. 30 degrees. The sum of the exterior angles is always what? 360. So 360 divided by the number of sides is equal to the exterior angle. All right. If you feel like that's a lot, just keep writing it down. All right. But I just feel like everyone should know that. Everybody's good? Anybody have any issues with that?
What's a dodecagon?
Dodecagon is how many sides? That would be 12. Dodecagon is 12.
Dodecagon here, but it says 12 on number 5 on the
Yeah, just because they're... All right, so everyone else, guys, I want the work finished. All of it, every single problem is to be finished.
But this one is the same as this.
What?
Like for the formula, is this? Can't find it. Is this?